Oh Lord, not this again. Hello, welcome back to another installation of What Would Lou Do? It's back. So as you guys can tell, we have the Smith & Wesson Performance Center model back again. It is back on the operating table, and we're going to figure out whether this thing is going to thrive and survive or it's going back to the morgue. So for those of you who are not aware, just a brief backstory on this. I had major problems with this, and so I had to send it off to Smith & Wesson, which quickly became a long and arduous, ridiculous situation, and I had to send it back a second time. They replaced this with an old slide, one that basically is of far less value than the Shield Plus model that I purchased. And so now that we have it back, I'm need to update you guys on it, that way that you know what my experience has been, not only with this particular model, but Smith & Wesson as a company, and what are my overall thoughts. So yeah, now we're going to do this video for yet the fourth time. And so if I can't get it this time, I'm more than likely going to throw this thing into the deepest, darkest abyss because it's an accursed object. But let's hope that's not the case. So we're just gonna go ahead and pop her open here. This is the EDC kit. Comes with this little pouch here, and I'll show you all the goodies in there, but it comes with your typical stuff like, your manuals, this little baggie here, some foam, and, all that good stuff. This actually, surprisingly, is missing one of the things that they usually always have in here. It's the cable locks. I was really shocked, because they just give those things away like no one uses them. Oh wait. Okay, so you get this nice little pouch here. Got some paintages on there and Smith & Wesson Performance Center. So just open her up here. And voila. Oops, you know what? Okay. So of course you get the Pewstole itself, you get a 10-round magazine and a 13-round magazine. In your everyday carry kit, you also get a flashlight and a knife. A lot of people are going to be tempted to keep this in a pouch and maybe put it in a glove compartment or something like that. If you're using this as a spare, that might be okay. As long as you have one on you, that's where you're really going to need it. Because if you get separated from your vehicle, well, this isn't going to do you much good, is it? Definitely keep that in mind if you're thinking about putting this in the case and then just stashing it somewhere. Here's the flashlight. Got a decent amount of weight to it. I assume it's an anodized aluminum. It is not magnetic, so 9 times out of 10 it's definitely going to be aluminum. Now this one I thought was kind of odd because it starts out high, low, strobe. High, low, strobe. And it does have a belt clip, and it has the type that you can attach this to the top of your cap and you can have a headlamp. So that is pretty cool. Okay, as far as the knife goes, it's nothing, amazing, but it is, you can open it with one hand, your standard type of blade, the quick release button right here. It is sharp, it will shave hair, I did try that. It does have a pretty sturdy belt clip. And yeah, so overall good quality, just nothing amazing, nothing to really get up in arms about. It's just a knife, right? So you get the Shield Plus, you get a 10-round magazine, and then you get a 13-round magazine. Originally the mag does not come with this grip extension here. It comes with a flush fitting. As you can see, my pinky will hang off just a little bit with that. I actually got the Pierce Grips extension, and it's now perfect. Not only does it make it look better, but it's much more to my liking now, and I can get a really good grip on there now. Same with the 13 round. You basically have that same grip. However, it doesn't look as good with the 13 round in there. That's just my opinion. Some people may think it looks fine, but to me, I just prefer the looks of that one. All right, so unloaded with no magazine, you're looking at 17.4 ounces. Then with the 10-round magazine, no ammo, you're looking at 19.6 ounces. This is some really lightweight ammo here. This is Norma, I believe it's 108 grains, so It's going to be a little bit heavier with standard 115 grain, but as you can see, that brings it up to 23.5 ounces. So the overall slide length looks to be about 5 7/8. So just a tad short of 6 inches there from this point to here. So the slide width is also about 7/8 of an inch. And so then we're going to go to the height, just shy of 4 1/4. The grip this way is right about 2 inches. And then as far as the grip width, it's about an inch. So very good as far as the dimensions go. A lot of you guys are aware that they gave me the wrong slide and then they replaced it with the correct one. However, if you take a look at it, it's got more like a grayish look to it. When I got this back, it was covered in grease and fingerprints. The finish was like very blotchy, so I just was cleaning it, right? Rubbing. And I started noticing all this black coming off on the rag. And so, I don't know. They sent me a slide that they finished on the spot or something, and it wasn't cured, and I basically wiped most of it off. So now it has like a very metallic look to it. You can't tell it right now because of the light in here, but here for comparison, whoa, wait a minute, you got a Crimson Trace red dot on there? Oh no, I'm not listening to anybody that has that. I'm out of here, Scooter. Well, don't let the door kick you on the way out there, pal. I believe you should be able to see the difference there. Let's see if maybe you can see it like here. Yeah, look at that. And this looked like this before I sent it to them. Now it looks like something completely different. You know, I liked this one because it was really dark black, and so was this one. Now it's not that way. So they gave me the wrong slide for basically an unfinished slide. I tell you, boy, it's hard to find good customer service these days. That was another issue that I had when it come back the second time. Is that the only one? Absolutely not, but one thing at a time here. I really like this gun. I mean, this one to me was leaps and bounds better than the Glock 19 or even my second purchase, which was the 43X. This one, it feels so good in the hand. The grip here is wonderful. The 43X is basically non-existent, like a slip and slide. You can really get a good hold on there, and that thing's not going anywhere. Now, yes, this was a little bit short for my hand, but again, if you want to just throw this one in there until you can get like a grip extension or something like that, I mean, at the most, man, you might pay like $10-12 for something like that, and it makes so much of a difference, not only functionally but aesthetically as well. The controls also are very easy to get to. You press that button and that magazine slides out, no problem. And it is one that you can switch around, so if you wanted to be on the other side, you can do that. It does have a manual safety. I don't use it. It's not my thing. I don't like them, but it would be awfully hard to accidentally bump this. Definitely not something that I like. I will probably disable this somewhere down the road, but as of right now, it's fine. The slide lock right here works just fine. A lot of people will say that it's hard for them to press it down to release it. I don't find that to be the issue, as long as you pull it back and the magazine's what locks it. All right, so you let it out a little bit and it goes. If you lock it back yourself, it is almost impossible to pull it down. Now, yes, I know a lot of people are screaming at the TV, at the phone, oh no, don't release it on an empty slide. Relax. I know there's a lot of people that say that it's very stiff. You know, I actually put a video out on that. It's just the order of operation because it's designed to be more like a slide lock than a slide release. As long as the magazine stops it and that slide lever pops up, pop that thing right down, no problem. Takedown lever is actually very easy to do. You just swing it down like that, take your magazine out, let it back, and then pull the trigger, of course, after you've assured that it's empty, and then it comes right off like that. So takedown is very easy, and then you just lock it back, and boom, we're good. So all the controls are very ergonomic, very easy to get to, very nicely done right there. Now the triggers. So here's where we get into a bit more of a problem area that I had. So when I got this back from them the first time, the trigger issue seemed to be resolved. They replaced the sear on it. The second time I received it, the trigger was so light that it actually scared me the first time that I pulled it. It completely caught me off guard. Like I didn't feel the wall or anything. I was like, wow, I don't know when this thing is going to go off and when it's not going to. That again had me to put it on the bench, right? Because Smith & Wesson was not going to get it back. I said no more because it took me a total of like 6 months to get this back and it still had problems. I don't think so. Now, if I wouldn't have had this one to compare it to, I may not have known what the problem was, right? But so I took these slides off and I was just pulling the triggers. And I noticed that this one pushed the sear up more than this one did. And so I realized that it was the trigger bar. And so I had to, you know, kind of baby it and see how it felt. And now I've got it basically the same pull as that one, but the reset is a little bit different. It's much quieter now. That's a long-winded lead up to this trigger here, but I think it's important that you know these things. But anyway, again, we make sure we are empty. I really do like the trigger. It looks nice, and plus it just functions very well. It's almost a clean break as any trigger that I have. And so let's pop it. So almost a clean break. The reset though, however, I'm gonna have to get close here, but right there, you can't hear it as well now, and there it went. And oddly enough, it's actually even hard for me to know when it's reset. Now I'll show you the other one, how it functions. And again, we are emptying it. So, see, almost clean break. See right there? It's very defined and it was just boom. So this is about what it was like before I started having issues with it and had to mess with the trigger bar and everything. So if I absolutely needed to, I think a trigger bar replacement would fix that and get it back to how it used to be. I love the trigger on it. That's one of the things I really liked was the trigger, especially over Glock. You know, coming from those in that horrible, mushy, gushy, blocky, stinky, smelly, starchy. Okay, you get the point. Rail here. There is no rail. That is one thing that a lot of people griped about. To me, it's not necessarily a deal breaker, but I do get it if you have, you know, like one of your expensive lights, like a TLR7 sub or one of you Surefire guys, you won't be able to put your precious light on here and have it sticking out here all ridiculously like you like. But there are options, as you see, right? So it's not the end of the world. Slide serrations here, it's got a little bit of one right here, but it's almost useless. I don't, like, you'll see me do this sometimes, but it really doesn't catch that at all. It's literally because my grip is pulling down on this. I guess you could do it like that, but I mean, these in the back work very well. I mean, I can pull that no problem. I can do it this way. I can do it that way. These work very well. These, however, not so much. Now, if you're going to press check it again, you're gonna build up some strength right here, and you're going to be able to just pop that. But as far as the serrations here, basically are non-existent, and they probably just could have left it off. The design is not my favorite. I don't like that fish scale look, especially because here it's got that nice hard edge. Just aesthetically speaking, I would have rather it just to be straight, but they do function very well. Sights on this one is a bit different from the optics ready version or even your standard version. Your standard version is going to have 3 white dots. This one actually has the night sights, or day and night sights. So maybe you can see that one. This side's glowing, and this one here, bright orange dot, whereas this one has fiber optic sights. Now, yes, the pairing is weird because of red and green, but somehow it really does catch your eye, like especially when the light's hitting these. Man, these things glow like crazy in the daytime. Now at night, you're not going to be able to see it, so definitely get a light. Now, the biggest selling point, I guess you'll say, for the Performance Center here was right here, the porting on here. If you look at the counterpart here, there are no portholes, and the main difference between these two is you've got portholes on this one, none on this one. You've got an optic cut on this one, not on this one. It would have been nice if they would have had this one an optics cut. And I may, if I'm confident that this thing is up and running smoothly, I may have an upcoming project with C&H Precision to refinish the slide and put an optics cut right here. Now, if we do that, I will keep you guys updated and let you know how that comes out. But that is likely something that we're going to be doing down the road. So the porting here is not just on the slide, but actually in the barrel. This allows even more of the pressure and the exhaust to come out. It allows the slide to go back a little more smoothly, thus allowing you to control your recoil more. Now, does it work over your standard version? Yes, it does. How much so? That I really can't tell you. I can just tell you as far as feel, this one definitely shoots a lot flatter than your standard version or your optics ready version. Chamber indicators here. Now right in there, if you have a bullet in there, you will see it, and you can kind of see it a little bit in this side, but mainly right there. But I always caution people, don't rely on that, because you could think you see something you don't, or you could miss something that is there. It's just safest to just to pull it back and check. And it's like, okay, I am definitely loaded. And if you follow that logic, you shouldn't have any sort of accidental discharges. And last but not least, your serial number usually lives there. I just put tape over mine because nobody needs to see that. So what's the verdict on this, right? Where do I stand with Smith & Wesson? What do I think about the Shield Plus? What are my recommendations? Well, now don't get me wrong. I've heard of some people having issues, but not to my degree, right? I had a dud right out of the box, a bad trigger, flaws in the finish, guide rod and spring assembly, kept getting hung up. There was like two other problems. I forget what they were exactly. Problem after problem, like I said, right out of the box. And I really wanted this to be my go-to, right? But now I've pretty much moved on. Like now I'm really into the P365 lineup. While SIG has a bit more expensive offerings, they also seem to have a lot better quality and much better customer service than Smith & Wesson here. And I'll give you an example. Smith & Wesson in one corner, SIG in the other. Smith & Wesson took 6 months to solve an issue that they still didn't solve, and it took them twice, still didn't solve it. SIG, I actually was the reason that one of the Romeo red dots failed, and they replaced it for me. And it only took about a week and a half. Smith & Wesson here, I had to keep asking them what was the status with my gun. And they acted like I was bothering them because it was taking so long, right? The first time it took 4 months to get this thing back to me. And then it has a slide from a lesser valued model. Yeah. The SIG not only sent me the replacement red dot without having to send in the original, and it actually came with the shroud this time, right? So it was actually an upgrade. Whereas Smith & Wesson did goose egg for me. They didn't give me a sticker. They didn't give me a sincere apologies. They didn't give me a t-shirt. They didn't give me squat, but a dirty, greasy gun with a, yet again, blemished slide. And again, the trigger issue returns, and I, this time, had to fix it myself because I've lost all confidence in them. For the most part, I would say you get relatively good quality, right? Like I said, this one, I've not had any issues out of this one. This one, I just can't say that, man. I not only had problems with this, but the problems with the 13 round, accepting the 13th round. Funny because their big selling point, aside from the porting and all, was 13 round capacity. And ironically, it would only take 12. I literally damaged my medulla oblongata loader trying to get that last round in there. And it wasn't just this one. It was the 10 rounder too. And come to think of it, it was actually on these magazines as well. So I say all that to tell you, look, at the end of the day, you're going to have to make this decision for yourself. I can only tell you based on what I have experienced. What I've experienced has not been good. It just hasn't been good. It's really made me not want to buy anything else from them. I would venture to say, I'll go out on a limb and say that this is more than likely just a lemon, something that got overlooked because of poor quality control. But the way that they handled it afterwards and the way that they've continually just they don't care. That to me is a big red flag, and companies like that really should be held accountable. As long as people just keep buying their stuff and keep overlooking it or looking the other way, there's no incentive for them to be better and do better. Now, if I was paid by the company, like a lot of the people were, to push this thing, I wouldn't be telling you this right now because I'd probably be in a contract the way I couldn't tell you this without getting sued or punished in some way. But since I bought this with my own hard-earned money, I can give you my honest opinions and let you know what my experience has been. And unfortunately, it has been a poor performance sinner. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. You guys let me know if you've had any of these sort of issues with your performance center. If you've had positive experiences with it, then by all means, drop that below. This is just my experience. I'm not trying to dissuade anyone from getting these. I really think they're a really great, viable option as far as EDC goes. And even home defense, I could say you would be perfectly set with. However, the performance center, man, just didn't perform. And so I think that's going to wrap this video up. If you found this video helpful, we ask that you strike that like, swell that bell, subscribe and vibe with us, make us feel all appreciated, baby. We appreciate you guys for watching. As we always say, seek the Lord while he may be found, or call upon him while he is near, because he is near unto those that be of a broken heart, and save such that be of a contrite spirit. Draw near to God, and he would draw near to you. He resists the proud, but he gives grace to the humble. So cast yourselves down before the Lord, and he will lift you up. Till next time, guys, take care and God bless.